Hey YouTube, it's a little windy out here. It is December 12th, 13th. There's been some questions about a video I did a long time ago about controls. So I still have the battery in this, and I came out here to remove the batteries from both bikes and put them in the house. It's just gotten so windy and cold that I just don't want to ride right now. So let me turn this on. It says the battery's full. So you have your mode button, your up and down arrows. You hold the mode button to turn the bike on. The key has to be on, which is under here. You can press the mode button and go to drive 2,448 miles. So I finished the year with 1,800 miles or so, almost 1,900. It says the voltage is 50 volts. Optimum storage would be about 48. This is going to slowly discharge to 48 anyway. It was fully charged when I left it out here, so under load is probably already there. So you can go through mode and see current draw, trip meter, timer, how long the bike has been on. You have your brake levers, your shifter levers, and various other controls on the bike that you'll use to ride. So I have different grips on here. Still have the throttle over here. It's a little step down to get on that grip, but it's okay. But other than that, it's pretty standard up here. So you can. I'm not going to show you how to turn it on PS. So cruise control. People have wondered about that. So let's just hold up the arrow. Well, down arrow. So it's on cruise and it's going 25 miles an hour. All right, pretty good brake rub there. Not really. So let's do that again. So hold the throttle, push the down arrow at the speed you want to go. So that's how cruise works. And it isn't rubbing anymore. It was just the brake lever. The cables need to be replaced on this bike bad. Sometime this winter maybe. So that's cruise control. So if you wanted to drain your battery and you had a nice max haul stand like this, you could set the bike on there and just let it run like that. I also have the headlights on. I'll shut those off. So the headlight, to turn it on, let me shut this off. Just to break the pull and it'll shut off. So the headlight is a up arrow push, and the headlight and the tail light come on together. And to shut it off is exactly the opposite. So you have to choose your PAS on. Okay, so let's do this from the start. Turn your bike on. Right now, there will be no motor power provided. This is a regular bike, PAS 0. 1 is good for about 6 miles an hour. 2, 12. Each up button push will shift it up. A short push. PAS 3 about 17, 18. PS 4 as fast as the bike will go pretty much. And PS 5 is as fast as the bike will go. And that's the maximum assist level. Good for climbing hills and stuff. So to go down the PAS levels, you go down arrow, short push. So we're back to 1. I showed you how to use cruise. It's you hold the throttle at the speed you want to go and push the down arrow. That'll give you cruise. I don't recommend using that unless you're on a wide open trail with nobody around you. It could be quite dangerous if you're trying to ride your bike at with that engaged and there's people around you or you're in traffic. If you screw up, you can seriously hurt yourself. So that's pretty much the controls here. I'm not going to show you how to change any of the, well, I guess I could. The only thing I'm going to show you how to change is, that's, the first P is the light, so we don't want to change that. P3 is voltage, P4 I don't remember, 5, 6, 7. Here's the one for, this is only for, I'm going to say for the Lectric XP and not the 2.0, is P8. This again, it only stays on the menu for a while. So we're going to go back to P8. It shows 45 kilometers an hour because that's all this one can be set on. If you have the 2.0, you can change that to 100. But on this bike, if it goes above 45, you'll just get an error. I don't remember what the error is, but you'll get an error. So P9, don't remember. P10, P11, it goes clear up to all the way through P. So the only one you should mess with, unless you want to adjust the light brightness, which is P1, is P8. And depending on which bike you have, depends on where it will be set. Some of the 1.0s are at 102, and that was the later generation ones. This is second generation maybe. So now you have your brake levers. They have an integrated motor cutoff. So either brake lever will shut the motor off. If you don't like what the bike's doing, pull the brake lever. Point blank, just pull the brake lever. So the brake lever should be set so that they're about half a pull before you really start engaging the brakes. And likewise, you don't want the brake lever to go all the way to the handlebars. The vast majority of what's wrong with these brakes is in the cables. The levers are fine and the brake calipers are fine. It's the cables just have so much drag, they don't allow the brake to return real well. So you have that, brake levers. Now you have your shift lever. You only want to shift when the wheel is moving, the back wheel, or you're turning the crank. So you have 7 gears, 1 being the lowest gear, hill climbing, and 7 being your speed gear, where you're going to get your fastest speeds. So 1 slow, 7 fast. Anything in between, you can use your judgment on what you want to call it. So shift only when you're turning the crank or you're pedaling. Otherwise you're just stretching the cable, because you're pulling the cable tight when there is no movement to allow the derailleur to move. So that's enough said about that. Shift when you're pedaling, and don't you could technically shift down because you're not going to stretch the cable shifting down, but you might have some chain slap issues when you finally do start pedaling again. So you have your latch for your front handlebar up front here. It should be latched with and locked depending on which bike you have. It depends what lock. I have a collar lock here that engages, and that. The rest of it, if you're not comfortable, go through my other videos and you can look and see how the bike works. So now we're going to go right into the battery removal, and that's part of the reason I have it up here on the rack. So I'm going to move you around, make sure you're in the shot. The shot is going to show that I cannot see worth a crap today. So you'll have to excuse me. You pull this latch and you fold the bike. I have a lot of grease on mine, so mine makes a lot of noise. So to remove the battery, we're going to wipe this off. So and I'll have to put it back on there here. Otherwise, or I'm coming up with something else. I'm coming up with a different noise. So you have to unlock the battery. The key is down here. You twist until your little lock pin here. If I can. So your lock pin is right there. And you're going to push and twist until that lock pin retracts. Okay. So now you have to remove the key. And my advice is, once you remove the battery has a little thing to lift it out, but like I said, this thing is greasy because of this is dielectric grease. Well, I guess I can use the key to flip that out. So pull the battery out, and here's my advice: stick the key in, and so the lock comes back out, so you don't lose the key. So I have tape on the bottom of mine, as you can see. That keeps it from rattling in the bike. So we're going to set this off to the side. You want to set this so it can't fall wherever you sit it. So we'll put the bike back together. Off again, and as you can see, I don't have a zip tie holding my motor cable off, because that's going to be a video that I do sometime this year, this fall, winter. I'm going to remove the wheel and do some wheeling for you guys. So we'll take the bike off. I don't recommend you flip your bike over to do this. I know some of you are going to say that's the only way you have to do it, but you can damage your bike. I'm just going to set this right here for right now. And carry the other bike out. Watch the channel know that we have 2 sets of electric bikes. Let me show you. Those are our Trek Verve 2 Plus, and the batteries are so easy to remove from those. You just take a key, unlock it, and pull it off. These have to Karen has a few more accessories on her bike. I have a mirror on my bike. I do on the Trek, because she insisted. She has a water bottle holder. I just throw it in the bag. So we'll put this up. Oh. So let me make sure you can see what I'm doing. So, and now we're going to remove Karen's battery, and these are going in the house. I know that they probably should discharge a little more, but same thing with Karen's bike. We had the same squeaking issue started about 1,100 miles, and we went ahead and did the same thing to her bike. So this her bike has some grease on it too, not as much because hers was more preventive. So got her little lever flipped up there. Little lever's flipped up. Gotta take the key, unlock the bike. Her cable housing is in the way. Oh, come on. There it goes. So remove the key. Bring the bike back around so I can watch the battery, because hers is wants to come sliding out of her. Hers has tape on it too. So put the key back in, extend the lock, set the battery down, put the bike back together. I have videos on how to adjust this if you're having problems with that latch. Karen's has a different latch on the front than mine. So that is all you have to do to winterize the bike, unless you park the bike in a garage with a salty car. Then you need to protect the bike somehow. And my suggestion is that you either cover the bike completely or spray the metal parts down with WD-40 and spend some time in the springtime cleaning it up, because that rust will take a toll on your bike if you're storing it in a garage with vehicles. As you can see, my messy garage, couldn't get a car in it if you wanted to. There is no differences in the controls between the step through and the XP, so I'm not going to go through them. Here's some of the changes we made to the bikes for those that haven't watched the 150 videos that I have. We got rid of the folding pedals. There's really no reason to have them on there. They're a gimmick. There ain't no other way to put it. They don't work well, and they don't last very long. These Inley have 3 bearings in them. They'll last as long as you want to ride the bike. We replaced the handlebars. Went with 660 millimeter handlebars. So they're quite a bit wider than the original. The original ones are 22 inches, and these are almost 27. So why would you change the handlebars? The answer is control. It is a much better experience controlling the steering with the wider handlebars. The farther your hands are apart, the more control you have, more leverage you have too. So keep that in mind. If you're having problems feeling like you're riding a scooter on, then you need to put on wider handlebars. Not to mention that your handlebars should be wider than your shoulders. So when your hands are placed out there, they're farther apart than your shoulders. It helps with breathing, comfort, takes less weight off your hands, all kinds of things. what else have we done? We have our cell phone holders up there. They work great. Work better than the ones that we bought. Let me grab one, show it to you. So, these are the cell phone holders we bought for the trucks. And quite literally, they are junk. They hold the phones fine, but they're really a pain to use. And Karen's Note 20 Plus barely fits in it. So she has to pry these apart to get the phone in there. And they move, they come loose. They only clamp to the handlebars with this thumb. So if you're looking at this, I don't remember the name brand, and there is no brand name on it. If it has this kind of clamp, avoid them. You're going to end up destroying a $1,200 phone, or maybe more. So my bike has a new chain on it. Karen's is almost to the point it needs a chain, but it isn't. New tires. I have those V Mission tires on there. Crap. Don't buy them. They did not last any longer than the $30 tires. So if you're looking for tires, just buy the cheap ones and replace them more often. It's yeah, literally the cheap ones lasted longer than the expensive ones. I had to rotate the front tire to the back tire. She has a water bottle holder that clamps to the stem. Works fairly well, as long as you keep it clean. If you're having problems with your water bottle falling out of your holder, it's probably not that it's stretched. It's probably just got so much dirt on it that it needs to be cleaned. So clean your water bottle holder. It'll hold the bottle better. Let's see. Karen needs a zip tie on hers too. Wow. I did not realize hers was missing too. Well, it has a zip tie, it's just not. So we'll put a bright yellow one on going here. That's the only color we have left. I'll just put one on hers. Let me turn you a little bit. So the zip tie goes right here. This is a little big for what we're going to use it for, but don't put it too tight. It just needs to hold the cable from coming unplugged. I'm pretty sure it was when I put a tire on it. There you go. So the plug is up here, and that's all there is to it. It'll keep it from coming unplugged. Maybe not keep it from getting snagged, but that's just the way it is. I think we'll call that a video. You guys see me remove the batteries? We'll go in the house, wherever you want to store them. Don't store them next to a heater duct, and don't store them next to the or store them outside. They're less likely to be damaged by cold than they are heat. Lithium batteries don't do heat well, so cold just freezes the battery. The electrolyte in a lithium battery will freeze at 32 degrees. So that's why they tell you not to store them outside, because they don't want you to drop below the storage voltage, and it will drop faster. The EMS draws power and will drain the battery eventually, and it does it faster outside. So if you store it inside, it's a slower process. You'll get your 18 months, but if you store it in the garage, by the time springtime comes, you might be below the recommended volt, way below where it should be. If it gets below, I think it's 2 volts a cell, you won't be able to charge it, the charger will just not recognize the battery. So that's why you want to store it in a warm area and keep stored at 65%, 75%, somewhere in there. No more than 75%. And that should be it. I know I haven't done a video in a while, but that's just the nature of winter. There isn't a whole lot to talk about. I'm working on other hobbies most of the time. The tracks don't need any wintertime maintenance. They have 500 and some miles on both of them. I have more on mine than Karen does, but they don't need any maintenance yet. I haven't even had to adjust the shifting on them. Had to adjust the brakes, the rear brake, after I removed the wheel, or the front brake, I should say, after I removed the wheel. I had to adjust it because it somehow got squeezed. The brake lever got squeezed while there was no caliper in the, no rotor in the caliper. And on the hydraulic bikes, that's how you set the distance from the rotor, is by squeezing the brake lever, and it will stay put once it's there. But these, Karen and me both have 180 millimeter rotors on our bikes and different brake pads from the original. The bikes do stop faster. I can skid both